In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. The evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens, in the firmament of the heavens, in the firmament of the heavens."
We have one message to give you. I don't care what you think of me. I don't care what you call me. I do care what you do with this information, because it is important to our survival as a species.
Romans chapter 15, verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Baruch chapter 2, verse 27 through 33. O Yahweh, our Elohim, thou hast dealt with us after all thy goodness, and according to all that great mercy of thine, as thou spakest by the servant Moses in the day when thou didst command him to write thy law before the children of Yashara'Allah, saying, If ye will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations, where I will scatter them. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves, and shall know that I am Yahweh their Elohim. For I will give them an heart and ears to hear, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name.
All right, we are the Hebrew Israelites.
And return their stiff neck, and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the way of their fathers, which sinned before Yahweh. Genesis chapter 1, verse 14 through 19. And Elohim said, Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs. for seasons. And for days. And years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. And he made the stars also. And Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. The Most High said, these lights, that's key, these lights will be for signs, seasons, days, and years. Question: what came first, the morning or evening, the sun or the moon? And if the moon came first, what kind of moon was it? These lights were made on the fourth day. So which lights were created first? We've been taught that the moon gets its light from the sun. How so? The beginning of a day starts in the evening according to the Most High, and not 12 a.m. according to man. So if the evening comes before the morning, then the moon and stars were made first. The moon has different phases, so which phase of the moon was in the beginning? All of the Most High creations were made in its maturity or prime in the beginning, and not as babies. Can a baby take care of itself? Let's look at Adam. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. And Yahweh Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. I'm going to reread that. And Yahweh Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So everything was made in its prime. We know now that everything grows into maturity, which is its peak until it reverses and ages until death. So the moon was at its maturity or peak in the beginning. It was fully illuminated. Let's verify that the moon was fully illuminated in the beginning. Let's take a look back at the creation of the fourth day. Ecclesiasticus chapter 43, verse 1 through 10. The pride of the height, the clear firmament, the beauty of heaven, with his glorious show, the sun when it appeareth, declaring at his rising a marvelous instrument, the work of the Most High. At noon it parcheth the country, and who can abide the burning heat thereof? A man blowing a furnace is in works of heat, but the sun burneth the mountains 3 times more, breathing out fiery vapors, and sending forth bright beams. It dimmeth the eyes. Great is Yahweh that made it, and at his commandment it runneth hastily. Verse 6. He made the moon also to serve in her seasons for a declaration of times, and a sign of the world. From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. Verse 9. The beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, an ornament giving light in the highest places of Yahweh. At the commandment of the Holy One, they will stand in their order, and never faint in their watches. 2nd Esdras chapter 6, verse 45 and 46. Upon the 4th day thou commandedst that the sun shall shine, and the moon give her light, and the stars shall be in order, and gavest them a charge to do service unto man that was to be made. The earth was created before the sun, moon, and stars. Therefore, the earth is separate and distinct from all celestial bodies. It is not a planet. The Bible teaches that the sun, moon, and stars are servants to the Most High and perform services to the Most High's creation, including earth. The Copernican principle of mediocrity is a philosophical rant spouted throughout the academic community. It worms its way into textbooks across the land, including the so-called Christian textbooks with their pictures of the solar system and the earth in orbit with the planets. Many textbooks are tools of the devil used to deceive the next generation of children. The children's minds are spoiled, and only by a powerful act of the Most High would they ever leave their deception. Meanwhile, the truth of necessity is growing quieter and quieter as the days go by. Man has always came up with theories pertaining to the lights in the firmament.
Through the ages, many have chosen to explain heavenly events through astrology, the belief that the heavens exercise a supernatural influence over life here on Earth. From the dawn of history, man has stood on Earth gazing into the heavens, trying to make sense of it all. Staring into the vastness of space and twilight, what could have been more baffling to early man? The setting sun disappearing with the light and its warmth, the rising moon ushering in the cold, dark night, and a light show of distant stars slowly materializing before their eyes. For most ancient civilizations, anything that couldn't be explained by the primitive science of the day was believed the result of supernatural, often divine forces at play. They noticed patterns in the great star grid that have been passed down to us remarkably intact as the constellations of the zodiac. Astral signs thought to exercise a mystical influence over our lives. Imagine what early man must have felt beneath the canopy of cosmic glitter.
I present to you, the new moon dictates your Sabbaths, period. First thing you need to do in order to get this understanding is humble yourself, and whatever you've been taught that's contrary to the Bible, you need to leave out. So whatever we've been taught Friday night to Saturday night sundown, which is not, you're not going to find it in the scriptures. Leave it out. Let's just go strictly by the Bible. If we just go strictly by the Bible, you will get this understanding. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of Allah, that he may exalt you in due time. Let's take a look into the Compact Bible Dictionary and get the biblical definition of time, and also the biblical definition of calendar. Time. In the early biblical period, time was marked by sunrise and sunset, phases of the moon, and location of a few constellations. But there were no names for days and months, and no accurate knowledge of years. The year was lunar, 354 days, 8 hours, 38 seconds, divided into 12 lunar months, with 7 intercalary months added over 19 years. The Hebrew month began with the new moon. Early Hebrews gave the months names. Later they used numbers, and after the exile they used Babylonian names. The sacred year began with Nisan, which is from March to April. The secular year with Tishri, September to October. Months were divided by Jews into weeks of 7 days, ending with the Sabbath. You can make references of Exodus 20 and 11, Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 14 and 15. Days were divided into 24 hours of 60 minutes or 60 seconds. The Roman day began at midnight and had 12 hours. John chapter 11, verse 9. The Hebrew day was reckoned from sunset. Night was divided into watches. At first, the Hebrews had 3 watches. In the time of Christ, there were 4. Various kinds of clocks were used: sundials, shadow clocks, and water clocks. The biblical definition of calendar. During the Bible period, time was reckoned solely on astronomical observations. Days, months, and years were determined by the sun and moon. Days of the week were not named by the Jews, but were designated by ordinal numbers. The Jews' day began in the evening with the appearance of the first stars. Number 2. The 7th-day week is a Semitic origin. Egyptians had a week of 10 days. The Jews' week had its origin in the creation account and ran consecutively irrespective of lunar or solar cycles. This was done by the man's physical and spiritual welfare. The biblical records are silent regarding the observance of the Sabbath day from creation to the time of Moses. Sabbath observance was either revived or given special emphasis by Moses. Exodus chapter 16, verse 23, and Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. Number 3. The Hebrew month began with the new moon. Before, the exile months were designated by numbers. Number 4. The Jews' calendar had 2 concurrent years. The sacred years beginning in the spring with the month Nisan, and the civic year beginning with Tishri, numbered in parentheses above. The sacred year was instituted by Moses and consisted of lunar months of 29 and a half days each, with an intercalary month called Adashini every 3 years. Ecclesiasticus chapter 33, verse 7 through 9. Why doeth one day excel another, when as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun? By the knowledge of Yahweh they were distinguished, and he altered seasons and feasts. Some of them hath he made high days, and hallowed them, and some of them hath he made ordinary days. Exodus chapter 31, verse 13 through 17. Speak thou also unto the children of Yashara'Allah, saying, Fairly my Sabbaths ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am Yahweh that doeth sanctify you. Ye shall keep the Sabbath therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done, but in the 7th is the Sabbath of rest, holy to Yahweh. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Wherefore the children of Yashara'Allah shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations, for a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the children of Yashara'Allah forever. For in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed. So we just learned that we can work in 6 days, and on the 7th day is a Sabbath. This is the only day that was named Sabbath. That's H7676, which is in Hebrew Shabbat, which means desist, cease, or rest. And we are supposed to observe the Sabbath throughout our generations for a perpetual covenant. Now, perpetual, that means everlasting or forever always. That's what perpetual is. Now, this is a sign between the Most High and the children of Yashara'Allah forever. Remember, this is a sign between the Most High and us forever. Did we forget already that the Most High put lights in the firmament for signs and seasons and days and years? Remember, the lights in the firmament are for signs too. Now this goes back to, what does each phase of the moon represent? But first, let's go to Leviticus chapter 23, verse 3. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is a Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of Yahweh in all your dwellings. So it's telling us we need to have a holy convocation. If you look into Hebrew and Greek concordance, that's Hebrews 47 and 44. That means assembly, a calling or reading, a gathering. On every Sabbath day, we're supposed to have a holy convocation. 1 Samuel chapter 20, verse 24 through 27. So David hid himself in the field, and when the new moon was come, the king sat him down to eat meat. And the king sat upon his seat as at other times, even upon a seat by the wall. And Jonathan rose, and Abner sat by Saul's side, and David's place was empty. Nevertheless, Saul spake not anything that day, for he thought something had befallen him. He is not clean, surely he is not clean. And it came to pass on the morrow, which was the 2nd day of the month. So now we know that the new moon begins your months, and it is the 1st day of a month. But what does a new moon look like? I used to have an understanding of the new moon being a dark moon. But after continuing my studies, I understand now that it's not a dark moon. The new moon has a light. The first light you see on the moon will be your new moon. Did we forget that creation is a cycle? The moon is just a cycle of the Most High's creation. Everything grows into its maturity, to its peak, and then reverses and ages unto death. So your first slither of light will be your new moon. Genesis chapter 1, verse 14 through 19. And Elohim said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to give the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And Yahweh made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the 4th day. Some camps are so high-minded and you can't tell them anything, but they believe that the new moon is a full moon. Let's see if that's correct. Ecclesiasticus chapter 50, verse 6. He was as the morning star in the midst of a cloud, and as the moon at the full. Ecclesiasticus chapter 39, verse 12. Yet have I more to say, which I have thought upon. For I am filled as the moon at the full. As you see, it says as the moon at the full. It did not say as the moon at the new. So that's telling us right there that a full moon is not a new moon, because it would have said, as filled as the moon at the new. Filled with what? Filled with the light to make the moon completely illuminated, making it full of light. So far we went over 2 days that are named in a month. The new moon being the first day of the month, and the seventh day being a day of rest, which is a Sabbath. Within a month you have weeks, and within weeks you have days. So let's go back to the 7-day Sabbath. Exodus chapter 16, verse 29 and 30. See, for that Yahweh hath given you the Sabbath. Therefore he given you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days, and abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day. We are supposed to rest on the Sabbath, and we are not supposed to kindle any fire on the Sabbath days, meaning cook. Exodus chapter 35, verse 3. Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day. Some Sabbath days the children of Israel can cook, which were high days. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 24 and 39. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, in the 7th month, in the 1st day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of the trumpets, a holy convocation. Verse 39. Also in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto Yahweh 7 days. And on the 1st day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath. Now when you go into the Hebrew and Greek concordance and look up the word Sabbath, it's going to say Shabbathon. That's Hebrew 7677. Special holy day. We are allowed to kindle a fire on these days, but it's still a Sabbath. But the Levites were appointed other laws or orders that the children of Israel couldn't partake in, such as preparing things on the Sabbath day. Matthew chapter 12, verse 5 through 8. Or have ye not read in the law how that on the Sabbath days the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless? But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than this temple. But if ye had known what this meaneth, I will have mercy and not sacrifice, ye would not have condemned the guiltless. For the Son of Man is Adonai, even of the Sabbath day. Like I said before, the Levites, which are the priests, had different orders. Numbers chapter 1, verse 48 through 53. For Yahweh hath spoken unto Moses, saying, only thou shalt not number the tribe of Levi, neither take the sum of them among the children of Israel. But thou shalt appoint the Levites over the tabernacle of testimony, and over all the vessels thereof, and over all things that belong to it. They shall bear the tabernacle and all the vessels thereof, and they shall minister unto it, and shall encamp around about the tabernacle. And when the tabernacle setteth forward, the Levites shall take it down. And when the tabernacle is to be pitched, the Levites shall set it up. And the stranger that cometh nigh shall be put to death. And the children of Israel shall pitch their tents, every man by his own camp, and every man by his own standard, throughout their host. But the Levites shall pitch around about the tabernacle of testimony, that there be no wrath upon the congregation of the children of Israel. And the Levites shall keep the charge of the tabernacle of testimony. What about a new moon? Are we allowed to partake in pleasure on the new moons? Let's see what our forefathers did for feast days. Let's go into the book of Josephus, page 95, chapter 10, concerning the festivals, and how each day of such festival is to be observed. The law requires that out of the public expenses a lamb of the first year be killed every day, at the beginning and at the ending of the day. But on the seventh day, which is called the Shabbat or Sabbath, they kill two and sacrifice them in the same manner. At the new moon, they both perform the daily sacrifices and slay two bulls with 7 lambs of the first year and a kid of the goats for the expiation of sins, that is, if they have sinned through ignorance. But on the 7th month, which the Macedonians call Hyperbitios, they make an addition to those already mentioned and sacrifice a bull, a ram, and 7 lambs, and a kid of the goats for sins. On the 10th day of the same lunar month, you see I made emphasis on lunar month, they fast till the evening, and this day they sacrifice a bull and 2 rams and 7 lambs and a kid of the goats for sins. In the month of Exanthicus, which is by us called Nisan, and is the beginning of our year, on the 14th day of the lunar month, when the sun is in Aries. For in this month it was that we were delivered from bondage under the Egyptians, and law ordained that we should every year slay the sacrifice, which I before told you we slew when we came out of Egypt, and which was called the Passover. And so we do celebrate this Passover in companies, leaving nothing of what we sacrifice till the day following. Numbers chapter 10, verse 10. Also in the day of your gladness, and in your solemn days, and in the beginnings of your months, ye shall blow the trumpets over your burnt offerings, and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for a memorial before your Allah. I am Yahweh, your Elohim. The new moon is treated like a Sabbath. We can't buy, sell, or take pleasure on this day. Amos chapter 8, verse 5 and 6, saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn, and the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balance by deceit, that we may buy the poor for silver, and the needy for a pair of shoes, yea, and sell the refuse of the wheat. 2 Chronicles chapter 8, verse 13. Even after a certain rate every day offering according to the commandment of Moses on the Sabbaths and on the new moons and the solemn feasts 3 times in the year, even in the feast of unleavened bread and in the feast of weeks and in the feast of tabernacles. As you see, the new moon is synonymous with Sabbath days and feast days. Synonymous. Alike in meaning or significance, having the same connotations, implications, or references. So people like to argue that we're supposed to only worship on the first day of the 7th month. Leviticus chapter 23 through 25. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, in the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of the trumpets, a holy convocation. And ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. So they like to use this scripture and say that we're only supposed to worship on the first day of the 7th month. So let's go back to 2 Chronicles chapter 8, verse 13. 2 Chronicles chapter 8, verse 13. Even after a certain rate every day offering according to the commandment of Moses on the Sabbaths and on the new moons and the solemn feasts 3 times in the year, even in the feast of unleavened bread and in the feast of weeks and in the feast of tabernacles. Now ask yourself, what do these days have in common? They are all holy days, and we're supposed to have holy convocation on all of these days. Remember, these days are synonymous, alike in meaning or significance, having the same connotations, implications, or references. 1 Chronicles chapter 23, verse 28 through 32. Because their office was to wait on the sons of Aaron for the services of the house of Yahweh in the courts and in the chambers and in the purifying of all holy things and the work of the service of the house of Allah, both for the showbread and for the fine flour for meat offering and for the unleavened cakes and for that which is baked in the pan and for that which is fried and for all manner of measure and size, and to stand every morning to thank and praise Yahweh, and likewise at evening, and to offer all burnt sacrifices unto Yahweh in the Sabbaths, and in the new moons, and on the set feasts, by number, according to the order commanded unto them continually before Yahweh. And that they should keep the charge of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the charge of the holy place, and the charge of the sons of Aaron, their brethren, in the service of the house of Yahweh. Ezekiel chapter 45, verse 17. And it shall be the prince's part to give burnt offerings, and meat offerings, and drink offerings, in the feasts, and in the new moons, and in the Sabbaths, and all solemnities of the house of Yahweh Allah. Ye shall prepare the sin offering, and the meat offering, and the burnt offering, and the peace offering, to make reconciliation for the house of Yahweh Allah. So let's go into the Hebrew Greek Concordance and look up solemnities. That's Hebrews 41:50. Assembly, time appointed to congregate, the place of meeting. So we are supposed to have an assembly or a holy convocation on our new moons. The new moon is not a working day. Ezekiel chapter 46, verse 1. Thus said Yahweh, Elohim, the gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east shall be shut the 6 working days, but on the Sabbath it shall be open, and in the day of the new moon it shall be open. And the prince shall enter by the way of the porch of that gate without, and shall stand by the post of the gate. And the priest shall prepare his burnt offerings and peace offerings, and he shall worship at the threshold of the gate. Then he shall go forth, but the gate shall not be shut until the evening. Likewise, the people of the land shall worship at the door of this gate before Yahweh in the Sabbaths and in the new moons. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 1 through 3. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Yahweh, and say unto them concerning the feast of Yahweh, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest, a holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of Yahweh in all your dwellings. So we know we have 6 working days, and the 7th is the Sabbath. We now know that a new moon is likened to a Sabbath, meaning no work, and it's supposed to be a day of rest also. So if you have 6 working days, if you got the new moon is the first day of the week. Then you have 6 working days after that. So if you have 6 working days after that, then the next day of rest will be the 8th day, and that will be a Sabbath day. And then 7 days after that will be a Sabbath day, which will be the 15th day. And then 7 days after that will be the Sabbath day, which will be the 22nd day. And then 7 days after that will be a Sabbath day, which is the 29th day. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 4 through 8. These are the feasts of Yahweh, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month at evening is Yahweh's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto Yahweh. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. In the first day ye shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. But ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh 7 days. In the 7th day is a holy convocation. Ye shall do no work, no servile work therein. Now, the first day of unleavened bread is a Sabbath day, but it's already a Sabbath day, so it's a high day. Now, when you do 7 days from there, it shall fall on the 21st day. Now, we're supposed to have a holy convocation on that day too, but that's a solemn feast day. But the 22nd day, which is the very next day, that's a Sabbath day. Now, what does the moon look like on each Sabbath? Now, we know what the moon looks like on the new moon day. But what about the 8th, the 15th, and the 22nd, and the 29th day? What does the moon look like? Remember, Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. And Elohim said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days, and years." So remember, these lights are in the firmament for signs or tokens. So like I said, we know what the new moon looks like. What does the moon look like on the 8th day? So on the 8th day of every month, the moon will be a half moon. The 15th day of every month, the moon will be a full moon. On the 22nd day of every month, it will decrease into a half moon. And then the 29th day of every month, it will decrease into a crescent moon. What day did we leave Egypt? Exodus chapter 12, verse 12 through 14. "For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am Yahweh. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you, when I smite the land of Egypt. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to Yahweh throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever." Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 14 and 15. "But the 7th day is the Sabbath of Yahweh thy Elohim. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy ox, nor thine ass, nor any of thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates, that thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest as well as thou. And remember that thou wast a servant in the land of Egypt, and that Yahweh thy Elohim brought thee out thence through a mighty hand and by a stretched out arm. Therefore, Yahweh thy Elohim commanded thee to keep the Sabbath day." So we know that when we left Egypt, it was a Sabbath day. How do we know this? And it was on the 15th day. When we left Egypt, it was on the 15th day. Numbers chapter 33, verse 3. "And they departed from Ramesses in the first month, on the 15th day of the first month. On the morrow after the Passover, the children of Yasharallah went out with a high hand in the sight of all the Egyptians." So what phase of the moon was it when we left Egypt? Remember, the 8th is a half moon, the 15th is a full moon, the 22nd is a half moon, the 29th is a crescent. So we left on the 15th day. So it should have been a full moon. How do we know this? Psalms chapter 104, verse 19. "He appointed the moon for seasons. The sun knoweth his going down." But we just read, it says, he appointed the moon for seasons. Let's look up seasons in the Hebrew and Greek concordance. That's Hebrews 41:50. Festival, time, a place of meeting, assembly, congregation. So he appointed the moon as a sign of feast, or for an assembly, or to know that it's time to congregate. It's time to meet up for a place for assembly or congregation for a feast. Like I said, now remember, we left Egypt on the 15th day. Now we know on the 15th day it's supposed to be a full moon. So let's see if it was a full moon on the 15th day. Let's go to Psalms chapter 81, verse 3 through 10. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. For this was a statute for Yashara'Allah and a law of Elohim of Jacob. This he ordained in Joseph for a testimony, when he went out through the land of Egypt, where I heard a language that I understood not. I removed his shoulder from the burden. His hands were delivered from the pots. Thou calledest in trouble, and I delivered thee. I answered thee in the secret place of thunder. I proved thee at the waters of Meribah, Selah. Hear, O my people, and I will testify unto thee, O Yashara'Allah, if thou wilt hearken unto me. There shall no strange God be in thee, neither shalt thou worship any strange God. I am Yahweh thy Elohim, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. Open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it. So as you see, this is making reference to when we left Egypt. Verse 10 again. I am Yahweh thy Elohim, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. So like I said, this is making reference to when we left the land of Egypt. We left on the 15th day. Now let's go back up to verse 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. Now these are three different points the Most High is making reference to. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. Now, let's go into the Hebrew and Greek concordance. Let's look up time appointed. That's Hebrews 36:77. Full moon. Now, let's read it again. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the full moon, on our solemn feast day. For this was a statute for Yashara'Allah and a law of Allah of Jacob. Let's see if the Sabbath days fell on the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, or 29th in any other month besides our feast months.
Exodus chapter 16, verse 1 and 2. Exodus chapter 16, verse 1 and 2.
And they took their journey from Elim.
Because, some people like, well, that is just, those are just our days because those are our high days. These are all our holy days in the month of, on the 7th month, and all our high days in Leviticus 23rd chapter. Okay, let's go to Exodus chapter 16, read verse 1 and 2.
And they took their journey from Elim.
What I'm trying to explain to you guys is we always kept the 8th day, the 15th day, the 22nd day, and 29th day as Sabbath days. Now, we're about to show you here, we're about to show and prove that it wasn't only in the 7th month that we kept Sabbath days, but we'll see. Read that, brother.
And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came unto the wilderness of Sin,
right,
which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the 2nd month.
On the 15th day of the 2nd month. Keep that in mind now. This is the 15th day of the 2nd month they came out of. Where would they come out of?
Elim and Sinai.
They came out of Elim and Sinai. Okay, keep going.
After their departing out of the land of Egypt, and the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness.
Right, so remember, this is the 15th day they came out of there, right? Now jump to verse 5 and read that.
And it shall come to pass, on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they would bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily.
So it came to pass, remember they came out on the 15th day, and it came to pass on the 6th day, which makes the 21st day. Okay? So they came out on the 15th day, then it came to pass on the 21st day, which is the 6th day. On the 21st day, they did what on the 21st day? We read that?
And it came to pass on the 6th day, shall they prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily.
Right. Now jump to verse 22 and read that. So this is the 21st day now, right? Read verse 22.
And it came to pass on that sixth day,
Uh-huh.
they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omars
Mm-hmm.
were one for one man,
Right.
and all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses.
Uh-huh.
And he said unto them, This is that which Yahweh has said.
Right.
Tomorrow is the rest of holy Sabbath unto Yahweh.
Tomorrow is what?
The rest of the of the holy Sabbath unto Yahweh.
Wait. What month is this? This is the second month. This is the second month.
And that was the sixth day, which is the 21st.
Right. And now he said tomorrow is the 22nd day, and that's a Sabbath day.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can close the book right here if we really want to. Okay. Now you done reading. You got all of that.
Okay. Bake that which ye will bake today, and see it that you will see it, and that which remaineth overlay up for you to keep until the morning.
Read all the way to 26, verse 26.
And they laid it up till the morning, and Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein.
Right.
And Moses said, Eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto the Yahweh.
Oh. So that day, which was the next day, today is a Sabbath for Yahweh. What? Keep going.
Today you shall not find it in the field. 6 days you shall gather it, but on the seventh day, which is the Sabbath,
right, in
it there shall be none.
So after that Sabbath was passed, you got 6 working days, and then the next Sabbath day. Mm-hmm. Then you can, the 6 working days, you can do whatever you want, whatever. Then the Sabbath day, you're supposed to do the same thing, have a holy convocation. You're not supposed to do no survival work therein, okay?